What's the first thing that everyone has to do when you've been away for quite a long time and then you get back home? You have to go get milk for coffee. Isn't that right, Jasper? So that's what we're going to go do now. Out there. I'm just going for a quick run. I don't feel like it. I've just put Jasper to sleep. I've just eaten food. Really, it's like running, the last thing I want to do. But that's the advantage of just doing 2 kilometers. I'm going to finish this vlog post tomorrow because at the moment I'm like 4 days between shooting and uploading, which is ridiculous. It should be less than that. Otherwise, Elon Musk could like announce some massive piece of news and I wouldn't be able to get it online in a timely fashion. Well, I did a little bit more than 2 kilometers. That's kind of the whole point really, is you start off with a really, really low target. I mean, there's just no excuse. Okay, time to get you back to school, isn't it, Jasper? Another day, another run. Not quite as far as last time, but it'll do. Okay, this is seriously not going to plan. I lay down for about a half an hour snooze, and I did this about 3 hours ago. But you know what? That's what these few days have been all about for me. Catching up. Catching up on sleep, catching up on exercise, catching up on tidying up and being organised, and catching up on editing. I'm gonna go get Jasper from school now. He's just had a couple of days back, so quite nice in a way, I suppose, have 2 days back at school and then straight into another weekend, to ease him into it gently. Yeah. Oh my word. There has been an article that I've been wanting to talk about for ages. It's on the Daily Mail online, so right there, anyone who lives in the UK knows we are not talking about high quality reporting. And basically, it's all about how if you drive an electric car, especially a larger electric car, like say the one I'm in, Model S, then you might actually be doing more harm to the environment, producing more pollution than if you were driving, say, a smallish petrol 4x4. It's basically just, it's full of all that whole sort of usual well-to-wheels analysis being done by some part of MIT. It's not that I have any kind of a problem with the research necessarily, I haven't even looked into it. So I couldn't say whether it was good research or bad research. What I can say is if you take complex research papers about, you know, a given subject and then attempt to digest them with the intelligence of your average, what tends to come out the other end is a big bunch of misconceptions and misunderstandings and taking things the wrong way. This is not supposed to be a video about how much I hate the Daily Mail, rather how much I hate their reporting in this particular case. Right, I'm gonna go grab Jasper now. Hang on. He's had a challenging couple of days at school. I mean, it's been okay. It's been a bit of a shock, you know, after the nice relaxing Christmas and New Year's holidays. Time to get inside and do some serious parenting. Well, parenting anyway. Right, come on Jasper, jump out, monkey. Another day, another run. And then, I think we're going to try and go to Cambridge. Just a shorter run today, because it's only been 16 hours since I did, in the end, almost 10k. Back under 90 kilos.
Well done.
I know, it's not bad for a week's work.
Hang on, it's not even been a week yet.
Yeah, I know. Shopping time.
Okay.
And today we are going shopping in Soskar. Nothing wrong with my car. I just feel like having a snooze on the way in, and also her car being smaller, should be a little bit easier to park the thing. We might take in a skate park. This is amazing. Just like having autopilot. Auto stove, even better, if perhaps slightly scarier. Concentrate. Doesn't look like the most comfortable way to sleep, does it? Soph is gonna walk into the centre of Cambridge, and me and Jasper are gonna scoot on in when he wakes up. I know, took a good old while to get him woken up. It's a bit slippy maybe. Is it too slidey? It's your first time on the ramps with the big boy scooter, isn't it? A good deal colder than I thought it was when I decided not to wear a coat. What a stupid mistake. Very good. So So it's now time to warm up and wait for Mummy. Good shopping trip?
Yeah, very successful, thank
Brilliant.
you. Hello, Poppy.
He's been a little pickle. What happened was he point blank refused to scoot along the park, and then when we got to the busy pavement he saw another child a bit older than him who was on his scooter, much like Jasper's scooter, and instantly he was like, right, I'm going scooting again. But he's basically just cold and tired and hungry. Is that the great artwork?
Yeah.
You're right, there are tons of bicycles in Cambridge. It's great, really. And because it's not warm out there, so I imagine what it would be like in summertime.
Why aren't all cities like this?
Cambridge, you spend a lot of money on cycle paths.
Oh, Dad, there are
The light here is fantastic. Thank you for turning the car around.
Okay.
Look, see? Otherwise, it would have been like a silhouette. I'm going to go through this Daily Mail article. It was just like basically every kind of misinformed, bad conclusion that they could come to. Sorry for the car noises in the background. Not electric car noises, I might add. Very disappointing. But yeah, so this whole article is about how electric cars are not as green as people think. Apparently, according to the Daily Mail, and although it sounds like I'm singling them out, and not really, this is the kind of thing that I have heard from so many different people over the years. It's always nonsense. So, here are the headlines. P100D Model S produces more CO2 than a petrol-driven Mitsubishi Mirage. That doesn't really surprise me because, you know, it's a Model S and a Mitsubishi Mirage is like quite a bit smaller. So, you know, if you compare it to an appropriate car, like an A7 or something, this is another one that I find hilarious, right? Half of electricity comes from power stations that burn fossil fuels, such as coal. Okay, fine, but these power stations are more efficient than everybody having their own small-scale power station in the front of the car, and even if they weren't, you've got quite a large proportion of renewables, and people that have EVs and drive EVs are much more likely to have renewables like solar on their roof or something, and as if that wasn't enough, they're also far more likely to pay a little bit extra to get green electricity, like for example from Ecotricity. Now yes, I plug my car in, it's taking energy from the grid, but if you look at the extreme example where everybody is buying only the green electricity, then the cost for fossil fuel electricity would be zero. Okay, oh, it's another one. Here we go. So the nickel in batteries is very polluting to mine. You go down here a little bit more, and it compares the mining of resources for a battery with fossil fuels, which is mental. Because once you burn your fossil fuel, it's gone. You've got to re-mine it. Whereas once you've built your battery, you can actually just recycle the materials that are in that battery. You only need to add new materials into the process in that stage where you're building a big base of batteries installed around the globe in cars and houses. Once you've got that, you don't need to mine anymore. I think another key point is, even if you have an electric vehicle that is plugged into a grid mix of power and they're getting mainly coal and oil and gas and all that sort of bad stuff, there's nothing to say that in the next 5 years that grid won't become cleaner. If it becomes 10% cleaner, then your car becomes 10% cleaner. That is not something that you can, do with a petrol engine or a diesel engine. They are going to be less clean, substantially less clean 5 years down the line than they were when you first bought them. Here's another one. Classic stupid move. Let's assume that the emissions were exactly the same, whether it's an electric 4x4 powered by a coal-fired power station or whether it's a diesel powered 4x4. Well, hang on a second. They're not exactly the same, are they? Because you don't have coal-fired power stations with their exhaust chimneys at ground level in the centre of London. They're like out in the countryside somewhere with a 200-foot stack. Your diesel car, however, that's exactly what it does. Right next to pedestrians and cyclists, people who just honestly did not ask for that at all. And here's more nonsense. What they're saying is that electric vehicle drivers believe incorrectly that their vehicles are zero emission just because they don't have a tailpipe. You get particles from tyres, brake dust, all that sort of thing, and they're quite right, you do. But here's the thing. With an electric car, they almost all have regen. So the percentage of the braking that is actually done using the brakes is substantially less. In addition to the fact that you don't have the, as much of the brake dust, you also actually have less tyre. You know, nurse, you are in my video, aren't you? Because, generally speaking, electric vehicle drivers tend to try and drive more smoothly. The electric drivetrain promotes that. When you drive smoother, there's less acceleration and less braking. So therefore, less of this particulate matter. Right, I think this is probably about all my brain or ears can handle while I'm sitting here with Jazzy. And Soph will be back in a minute anyway, so I just wanted to quickly mention, in terms of this vlog, right? So, and actually no, in terms of my whole life, I am basically trying to stick to 2 New Year's resolutions. A run every day, which I have done since New Year's Day, and no uploading and publishing videos until all of my videos are edited. Unfortunately, that second one I have like totally blown so far. Apologies if there are a few more gaps in the daily side of things. You know, just whilst I get my feet on that second resolution for 2018. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I will see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye. Missions. I see, you just keep drawing me nice pictures on there. In terms of the globe on your coal-fired power station.
It's a monster truck.
It doesn't look a lot like. Also, drivers tend to have. That's great, Jasper. That is a beautiful piece of artwork.